Juke joint. What happened? Oh, I see.
Okay,
No. It was something else. I was saying something. Something popped up. But here we go. We here, baby. We here.
Let's go.
Man, happy New Year, E. Right?
Yes, sir.
Get out of here. Okay, so I had some stuff to pop. Like it, our platform changed some stuff around, and I'll be trying to find stuff now. I'm like, why would they change stuff around and whoop whoop? And it's pissing me off. And it is what it is. But we're here, man. We here. And what's going on? How was your New Year?
It was good, buddy. It's very good. It's good. Glad to be on the backside of the holidays a little bit. Back to normalcy a little bit.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, me too. The last time we recorded, the number one thing we had happen was the trade for Garrett Crochet. So we kind of touched on that. But since we've been gone, a lot has happened in our world, right?
Yeah.
In our home league, we opened everything up. As far as fantasy, we're talking fantasy baseball real quick. Just a quick nugget, and then we're going to talk White Sox, and then we're going to come back to fantasy baseball because today we will be breaking down our top 10 second basemen going into the year. And remember, when we do our rankings, it's for a drafting league / going into
1 year league only.
Yeah.
And FBC rules. So
FBC rules, right? So that's what we're gonna talk about that when we get there. But so like in our home league, we open everything up, and the trades start going insane.
Boys were starving. They were starving to do something.
Like so at the end of the year, we shut the rosters off. We shut everything down. Then we told the league, hey, you got to clean up your IL going into the winter meetings. And then once everybody got their ILs cleaned up and we were down to a 26-man roster for everybody, we opened things up for trades, pickups on the waiver wire, moving around, so on and so forth. And the home league started going insane. I mean, people start leaving teams, going left and right, people on the waiver wire. You're looking at like, what the hell is this? And he's essentially, I was just like, hey, if you make a trade, I'm just gonna execute it as a commission. I'm just gonna execute it. I'm not even thinking about it. If you want to do the trade and the other guy accepts, shout out to you, Roberto. Thank you. I appreciate you. Like, okay, I'm doing it. And it just went crazy. Like I guarantee we've had at least 25 to 30 trades in 2 weeks.
And superstars too.
Yeah.
Like Gunnar Henderson's already been on 3 teams since we opened him up.
Yeah.
Like moved around.
Like Gunnar Henderson is like he's been moved, but I think he's found a home. Maybe.
Yeah, he's probably not moving much now. But
I don't know if he's safe. I don't know. The person who owns him, Eric, is like, I might move.
I might move him.
Yeah.
You never know.
You never know. But so that's the fun part of the offseason that we love. And we on the juke joint, we just kind of,
it's so well timed too, because all the winter meetings are going on and our stuff's going on, and it's like the baseball fever scratching. Like it's great. It's great.
Yeah, I mean, it's like when things are moving in MLB, things are moving.
Some people don't do shit like Dre and Nine, like they just don't do anything. So that's fine. All the rest of us have made like 19,000 moves. Like it's fine.
Yeah, he went out and got Bregman. So
yeah, he did.
But I mean, we just like I said, things are moving in MLB in injunction. Everything's moving in our home league. All the while, well, I'll bring it up later. Fantasy baseball is our love, our passion. And we got some stuff coming down the pipeline, and it's going to be good. We're going to talk about it a little bit later. But let's get right into our show, right? And the first thing we always want to talk about, and then if you're on YouTube, please subscribe. And if you're on X, run over to the YouTube channel for us and just subscribe for us. And that'll be dope if you do. Appreciate it. But let's just get right into the White Sox. What's next for the Chicago White Sox? We always bring this up.
Yep.
What's next? So let's just show what they've done right now, right? Let's just show what they've done so far right now, right? The last thing that we had happen was Josh Rojas, which in my opinion was a move that I really like that pickup. I'll just put it that way. We had Tyler Gilbert get traded from Philadelphia. He's a right-hand relief pitcher. You know, he has some things. They DFA'd Brandon Shoemake. Cameron Boozer was traded from Boston, another relief pitcher. DFA Corey Jukes. We got Bryce Wilson, another pitcher. I hope you guys are seeing a pattern, and then I'm gonna make sure y'all remember what we said. Okay. Matt Tice got him from the Cubs, right? Another relief pitcher. Okay. And then we had our trade, Chase Meredith, Wilkerman Gonzalez, and Braden Montgomery came from the Boston Red Sox for Garrett Crochet. All right. So the pattern that you see is exactly the thing that Eric and I told you the last time we was on the show. Matter of fact, the last couple times. Eric, you want to tell the people what we told them, what the White Sox plan was?
I mean, listen, the catcher's signing was obvious. We knew they were going to go get help. Like, they're going to work, right? And they got Corey Lee still, right? So they're going to be working Corey Lee here with Tyus, with Cuero, with maybe Kyle T, kind of back and forth, some kind of deal. But you had to stabilize that position. And it's all about pitching in the bullpen and what you can acquire. Like, the trade for Tyler Gilbert is interesting. We traded away, I think he's an 8th-round pick, Aaron Combs. He was another relief pitcher. I think he was at Tennessee. But Tyler Gilbert, like, guess what? Left-handed relief pitcher that lowered his slot angle on his arm, like towards the end of last year, and had huge success in AAA. Well, the White Sox have had some decent success with lefties that are kind of sidearm from their deal. So looking for trade bait, looking for relievers that they can flip, looking for players that they can flip. Josh Rojas is a perfect name. You brought him up. Started off last year absolutely on fire. I mean, he had over a 900 OPS in the first couple months of the season. I mean, they're looking to strike gold there. He can play in multiple positions. Go out, get hot, and see if we can't get some prospects to add to the nucleus come the trade deadline. This is a pattern you're going to continue to see. I don't think the White Sox are done in the bullpen. I don't think they're done in the pitching department. Who's these one-year contracts? Maybe some guys with a little bit of control, but who can you flip maybe possibly at the deadline?
Yep, and that's the thing. We're always going to be looking to improve, and I think that if you haven't noticed from last year what the GM kind of moves, how he moves, he's starting to show his hand, right? And if you're smart,
and for once, it was a hand that we laid out. We haven't got caught off guard since you and I have been talking about this. Like, this was the plan that we could see coming together, and it just continues to progress down that path.
Yeah, I mean, it's just it's the most feasible plan of action when you have a team that struggles. This is a rebuild, okay?
Yep.
Don't get it twisted. This is not a patchwork thing that we've been doing for years, right?
Right.
This is a complete rebuild, and in order to rebuild, you have to draft well, and you have to flip at the deadline.
Yeah, you got to kill the international market, which we're going to find out that here in about a week, January 15th. So
yeah. I mean, you got to hit on the international market. So the three pillars: hit on the international market. You have to draft well, which the White Sox, I believe, have done, right?
Yep.
And then you have to flip at the deadline.
You have to understand contract values, and you got to get rid of people, even if they're stars. You're starting to see the industry change. We told people about Corbin Burns being moved last year from Milwaukee. Well, guess what happened? Kyle Tucker is one of the youngest stars in baseball.
Yep.
But he's got 1 year left on his contract only.
Yep.
Houston's still going to try to compete. But what they do? They went and traded. They went and traded him because they don't want to end up getting zero for him. So, like, that's more and more of a thing, and that's more of the adjustment. And what went wrong? And nothing was wrong with the first rebuild. The first rebuild was correct. I mean, they were top 5 World Series favorite team. The problem was there was never no adjustments, and we drove every contract value into the ground. So I like the direction, happy about the direction. It all makes sense. Continue to look for like relievers that fall through the market. I love the guy that you said from Texas.
Mm-hmm.
What's his last name? John Lyric.
Yeah. The one that was the Leclerc.
Yeah. That was the closer that kind of fell apart mid-year, whatever. Yep. Like, he's going to be looking for a 1-year back of the end bullpen, high leverage spot, and he's a guy that could bring you a big prize if the White Sox could fix him, right? Yep. Like, look for those kind of guys that kind of want that high average spot. They'll take a 1-year prove-it deal. They just want a chance to play, and that's Rojas. For anybody that you've seen out there that's predicted Rojas to be the utility swing guy, you might as well just give up trying to be an evaluation guy. They didn't get him to be a swing guy. They got him to play him. Hope he starts off the first 3 or 4 months hot, and they can get something for him.
Yep, I'm looking for them to pick up an outfielder, right? Same what they did last year with what's my man?
They did a couple of them. They did Tommy Pham. They did Rex Grossman. They did Robbie Grossman, I mean.
Yep, and Kevin Pillar.
Those types of guys that can come in that want a 1-year prove-it deal. It's a vet or somebody that was hurt or somebody that was off the deal, like who can maybe reestablish themselves and got a chance at playing time. Those are the guys that you're looking for.
Yeah, look, I'm looking for Austin Hayes, right?
Yeah.
Austin Hayes signs a 1-year deal, knowing he's not going to be here. He's gonna do what Austin Hayes does, and he's going to get traded, and you can get something back for him, right? So,
100%.
So those are the names that I like. Jose Leclerc for you, Austin Hayes for me, right? Those are the names that is just like, if you grab these guys, you can make those moves that are necessary to keep this rebuild on the steep incline, right?
Yeah, the reliever market is there's so many pitchers out there. Can the White Sox get 2 or 3 that fall to them correctly that can earn some big time value? That's going to be the question. That's going to be the question. Because you get a guy out there, nothing gets you more value than a bullpen guy that's cheap at the deadline.
Yep. So I think that's what's next for the Chicago White Sox. That's what we believe it is. And
obviously we know Robert's going to get traded at some point.
Yep, that's still going to happen.
That's where Austin Hayes comes in. There's going to be spots in the outfield. They're going to try to move Benintendi. It's going to be hard just because of his contract and the money he's owed. I don't know if they get that done, but we're getting close. I think we're 6 weeks from pitchers and catchers. Yeah.
5 weeks from pitchers and catchers, actually.
Yeah, and 6 weeks from the first game. I think it's in the middle of February, right? February 20th or something?
The first spring training game is February 20th. So.
Yeah, so we're 6 weeks from that. So we'll see some more activities. The market kind of slowed down over the holidays, but I think it's going to get picked back up here pretty soon.
Yep. So like I said, that's the White Sox spiel. I think that's basically like all we can really talk about. I'm really interested to see the closer market that hasn't been filled. That's worried about Tanner Scott going to the Red Sox. It's almost a done deal. So Tanner Scott going out there, which in turn takes the pressure off trying to push Liam Hendricks back to the mound for the Boston Red Sox. So that's one thing. And then Anthony Santander, like, where is he going?
Yeah, I got to get him out of the way. That'll help with some of the Robert market.
Yeah.
And it helps 2 ways. I hope people understand, like, it's not only does it help if a team gets them, but the teams that miss, of course. But, like, I'll give you an example. The Mets are still a few players short after getting Soto, right? But the Mets can land somebody. They feel the need to rebuild. That heats up, like, a market for them. If they can land somebody, they'll make one more investment. If they can't land anybody, they might not make that investment. So we need to get him out of the way, need to get him signed, and then I think the outfield market will take off further.
Yeah, I've been all in from the very beginning to have Tony Taters in Toronto as Justin.
Yeah.
Like that's where I say he's going to go. He loves that ballpark. He mashes in that ballpark. I don't know what it is about that.
And it makes sense too. A lot of the younger free agents have kind of shied away from Toronto.
Yeah.
But like Yeah, I agree with Justin.
Yeah.
But like Toronto can give him the extra year. Toronto can give him the money they want, and that's what he's looking for at this point.
Yep.
So I think it's Toronto's to lose there. I
Yep.
agree.
Yeah. So, but like you said, once that market happens, then we know, like, the move for, it sets the market for Luis Robert again. It just kind of
Well,
resets.
it does. Well, not with that, like, let's just stay white with Toronto for a second. If
Yeah.
Toronto lands Santander, like, now they know, all right, I've got Vladdy.
Mm-hmm.
I've got Bichette. I've got
Mm-hmm.
Santander. I kind of
Mm-hmm.
know where I'm at with my pitching staff, but I'm now all of a sudden, now I feel I'm only a couple pieces short, but I got to keep adding.
Mm-hmm.
If they don't get them, you could see them going complete rebuild, trading Vladdy at the deadline and restocking their farm and coming back out in the deal. Like, though, that's literally how quick an organizational map can change.
Yeah, because like if they don't get the deal done with Vladdy, and if they're from where it is, they're far apart, right?
Yep.
So they may not be trying to move that money to Vladdy right now. So it's possible that Vladdy does get traded at the deadline if they don't make the moves to compete, because the AL East is right there. Like,
Yep.
my favorite division in baseball right now is the NL East. That's like my favorite, right?
Yep.
But like Justin, I know his is the AL East.
Yep.
But the AL East, Yankees, Baltimore, they have some starting pitcher things to work out. Boston, the Rays are always going to be doing some shit, fucking people, right? So
and Toronto,
Toronto, so you have to be competitive in that division. And if
you could shoot a hole in any 5 of those teams.
Yeah.
If we wanted to tear one down, I could tear any one of the 5 down. I could put them any of them up as well. Like, you're right. It's very interesting. It's very interesting there.
Yep. So I mean, let's just see where this goes. I think Toronto gets it done for Santander, and if they do, I believe they going to make one more move to even bolster them even more to compete.
I think they lock down the bullpen for sure, and I could even see them getting their Bregman stakes, to be honest with you.
Yeah. So we shall see. But that's outside of our purview. What is in our purview, though? What is in our purview is, now we're going right into fantasy baseball. Okay,
let's go.
Right, because like fantasy baseball for us is like.
Are we doing a second baseman next?
We can if you
no, do whatever you wanted. I'm just ready to argue with you on the deal.
Okay, yeah, we can do second baseman. So we're gonna do our second baseman rankings right now, right? And Eric and I we've been fighting tooth and nail about who's top 10, who's not. There are guys that I don't like, Eric likes.
Yeah,
there's that I like that Eric doesn't like, right?
Yeah,
and it's more of a prove it situation with guys. And for me, it's like I think they've proven it, and they're going to continue to prove it. So those are the guys that we're going to be talking about right now, right? So let's get right into it. So our fantasy baseball's second round baseman is crazy. Hold on. I'll be typing so damn fast. Hold on. Second round baseman is insane. Let me fix that. All right. So, all right. So our fantasy baseball second baseman ranking. There we go. All right. So 2B, the keystone position, right? It's not that deep of a position in fantasy.
No, it's again, you're talking about, along with third base, you're talking about very weak and very top heavy. To give an example, there's only one second baseman in the top 50 ADP of the NFC right now.
Yeah.
It's only one in the whole top 50.
Yep. And that's just in the really big tournament out of Vegas. Only one second baseman, and y'all probably know who that is. But these are our rankings, and we're going to argue about it, right? And Jazz is not it. He ain't there yet, Caleb. So you can forget about Jazz being on this list, right?
Yeah.
You can forget about Jazz.
And I think it's important too. Mookie won't make the list either. He only played 18 games. We're going off to FBC ranking. You had to have 20 games.
Got to have 20 games. So we want to preference our rankings by you had to have played 20 games at the position to be on this list. Okay. And so let's just get right into it. Okay. So what I'm going to do, Eric, is we are going to have the name up, and at the bottom we'll have their well, not these guys. So let's get into our honorable mentions. Okay. So our second baseman honorable mentions. Okay. First guy we want to talk about is a guy that I had on my list, and you were like, right? Bryce Terang.
Yeah, he's on my team too. He's on my team.
So Bryce Terang last year, right? Bryce Terang put up some great numbers last year.
Yeah.
So let me just pull up his numbers real quick. Let me just because I didn't do the ticker for those guys, right? I didn't do the ticker for those guys.
So I can tell you, he was 254, 316, 350, 349, 665.
Right. So he also had 50 stolen bases.
Yeah. Yep.
And 7 home runs, 24 doubles, 4 and 4 triples. So and he had 142 hits, right? 559 at bats.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think he projects well. I thought he was worthy of being in the top 10. And then, other names came up, and there was a guy or two that I forgot played second, But
this would be different too. If we were using our ranking system of our chart, I think he makes the top 10.
Right.
He's 97% in whiff. He don't K to 78%, and he walks over league average, and he steals 50 bags. Like, he would make the top 10 of our list because of the certain categories that he affects. Also, too, for some of you people drafting this year, Bryce is a little sneaky because I could definitely see him moving him to short with Adames gone because he's a Gold Glove second baseman. So you might end up being able to get dual situations or dual positions out of it.
Yes, that is another one. So Eric and I both have the same kind of mentality when it comes to fantasy baseball. The guys that have multiple eligibilities are like, you need at least 2 or 3 of those guys that you can put in place, but they need to be quality guys like Bryce Terang. Bryce Terang is not a household name, but in the fantasy world, he should be, right?
Yeah, I mean, in my opinion, and you have to kind of decide like what you're going to do. So you're going to notice, and it's not by accident, I'm going to give away free fantasy advice here to people that are listening. So hopefully you can get closer. Weaker positions, you either want the number 1 dog, the number 2 dog, or you might as well wait to the number 10 or 11 or 12 dog because all these guys are kind of in the same bucket. But what you have to do is they got to play a role on your team. So if you're lacking speed, if you're lacking stolen bases, Bryce would be your guy here that you could jump in and he should be inside of your top 10 because he's going to be top 5 in the league with stolen bases probably.
Yep. Another honorable mention. Jonathan India.
Yeah.
So he was on my list initially, but I had to pull him off. Moncada is not top 10. You out your fucking mind, man.
Who?
Moncada.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's just. I wanted to see what that comment. It was just it was blowing me to see the comment up there. I was just like, who is this? Anyway, Jonathan India last year 248, 357, 392, 15 home runs, 58 RBIs, 28 doubles, 2 triples, 13 stolen bases, 533 at bats, 132 hits. So, he has value, but for me, him going to Kansas City changes things for me, right? He's in a much better lineup in Kansas City than he was in Cincinnati.
It all depends. What are you looking at? What categories are you counting? But his extra base hits will be up. He's going to have more doubles and triples. They run more than the Reds philosophy wise, or whatever. So like home runs will become a little tougher because he's going to be playing in Kauffman versus playing the Great American Ballpark. So home runs will probably take a tick, but I think his runs go up. I think his hits goes up. I think his average goes up. I think his stolen bases go up.
Right.
Playing in Kauffman.
Agreed. And that's why he's an honorable mention, because I think that he's going to shine out there in KC.
So let's just talk about this right here. So this is a perfect example. By the way, both of these last two guys are on my team currently.
All right.
Yeah. I mean, if you look, it's not hard to figure out, right? Like don't chase, don't whiff, don't K, 15 homers, 15 stolen bases, like yum. That's my wheelhouse all day. But here's a perfect example. If your team is, say you're okay, say you're pretty good in stolen bases, and say you're pretty good in power, you should rate India above Bryce Turang. Say you're power heavy and stolen base light, you should rate Turang ahead of India. Yep. Like, this is what nobody in our league, outside three of us yet, have figured out how to do your roster construction. Like, people have to, no doubt. Triples too.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, I'm probably going to bet Johnny India leads the league in triples, if that's a category I can bet on. Like, the gaps are huge out there. The outfield spacing is, I think it's first in baseball. But, like, you have to complement your players with your deal. So, you can flip-flop these two, but it should be based off of your roster, not what necessarily you think about the players.
Yep. So, our next honorable mention is my guy. And if you're in our league, if you're in our home league, I don't care what league you're in. If you are in a league with me, and you pick this fucking guy because of what I'm finna say, I'm gonna be so fucking mad. But if you do, shout out to you. But I did the research. This kid is legit. Okay. This kid is legit. I think he is a solid piece, and he's only going to get better. Okay. Last year, after the deadline, he was like 5th in baseball in WRC. Like, legit. He was like a absolute stud, right? Yeah. Otto Lopez from the Miami Marlins, 270, 313, 377, right? On the surface, it doesn't sound, but 20 stolen bases, right? Only 6 home runs, 23 doubles, but 109 hits, but with less at bats, only 403 at bats.
Yeah.
Okay? So, and if you know how to project, if you use Fangraphs and Savant the right way, you can see that he has those same qualities that you want. Don't chase, don't whiff, don't K.
Yep.
Right? And he hits at a good average because he contacts the ball solidly, right? So Otto Lopez, honorable mention for me. I think that he's going to be a stud. And he plays second base. He actually plays a Gold Glove second base. I think he was kind of like snubbed for not even being in the running last year. Like, he's made plays last year at second. So he
had a 98 percentile 14 OAA.
There you go. Yeah. So, and then last honorable mention.
Also, something else to keep in mind there too. They're moving to a minor league ballpark. That's probably going to help some of those home run numbers go up.
Yep. So, honorable mention, our last honorable mention is Jackson Holiday. Only because the kid has the pedigree, he has the skills, he has the baseball acumen to be successful at the position. Okay. He's in Baltimore. They pulled him up. Did he struggle? Yes. Did he kind of find himself toward the end of the year? A little bit, right? But it was a rookie year, right?
Yeah.
But he still has a high ADP. I think he is. What's his ADP right now? 169.
People
Right?
are going to love him because they recognize the name. Kind of like somebody else in our league, when they recognize a name, like they end up on their team. But like they recognize the name, so like he's on the team, and like so people are going to draft him higher because they've heard of him.
Yeah.
They've heard the name before.
Yeah.
But he wasn't making my top 10. We threw him in the honorable mentions. Steamers got him at 9 home runs and 8 stolen bases, 26% K rate, 12% walk.
Yeah.
Like, I'm more worried about, to be honest with you, I could see, and you should probably clip this. People aren't going to like this. I could see him spending a lot of time in the minors this year again.
Wow. So because of what Nye just said, Jackson can't hit a damn fastball, and unless he changes his swing, I don't think that changes.
Well, you got to remember, they got Kobe Mayo, who's ready.
Yep.
And plays third, and Jordan Westbrook is a certified Major League Baseball guy that can play either one.
Yep.
So like that's they're playing to win right now.
Yep.
And they're already loaded at DH because you have Tyler O'Neill, you have Mullins, you have Kauser, you have Hertzstead.
Yep.
You have your outfield's already loaded.
Yep.
If you don't think Holiday and Mayo aren't battling this out for who possibly makes that roster and who can make a difference, they're battling it out because they could move Jordan Westbrook either way. He could play as a good second base or a good third base.
Yep.
So I could see a spot here where Holiday don't even play much this year.
And Nine just said he shouldn't even be on the honorable mention. I can see that. I just put him there because he's a darling, right? All right.
He's a name. Somebody would have bitched if he didn't make it. So we did it for you. We did it for you.
We did it for you. Yeah, we did it for you. We did it for you. Anyway, all right. So let's get to our top 10. Top 10. Number 10, Brendan Donovan. I have been in love with Brendan Donovan ever since we started fantasy baseball. This man is just an absolute. He's just a baseball player. It's what he does. This is what he does. His projection, 278, 354, 413, 14 home runs, 69 RBIs, 72 runs, 7 stolen bases with an 118 WRC plus. That's his projection.
It's pretty salty, and you get outfield out of him too.
Yep. He plays. You got second base, third base, outfield, and sometimes, well, he won't get first base in this league, but he did play first base about 7 or 8 times. So Yahoo, he's eligible.
I don't know. Chase percent 80, whiff percent 94, K percent 97.
Yep.
Great bat to ball. Love to see him walk a little bit more, but that's the reason why he hit. I mean, look at his average the last 3 seasons. 281, 284, 278. Like OPS has been pretty steady. 773, 787, 759. Not fancy on the power of the stolen bases, but he can help you a lot of ways, and I think 10th's a good ranking here.
He helps me every year. And
again, we're talking about a complimentary team well, right? A complimentary team well.
Yep. And I could never come off of him. Like I would never move him because he fits the mold of what I built on my team. Yep. That's one thing I had to learn from my losing season 2 years ago. I have to build a team where people stack and complement.
You have, people try to draft players. You're not drafting players.
Nope.
You're drafting stats. And your stats have got to complement, and they got to build together. You can't be like the guy that his name is after the big college basketball school in North Carolina. When you go down his case thing, it says 170, 180, 216, 180, 190. Like, that's not a complimentary roster.
Not at all. Nope. So I mean, that's
can't be like 9 stubborn ass last year. Like, I don't care about stolen bases. You guys can keep them. Yeah, well, we kept them all the way and kept you out of the playoffs. Maybe you should have cared about stolen bases. Like, for example. And if you notice, everybody that pops up on the screen in this one is all got they touch every category. Yeah. Offensively, they touch them. They're doing something important. It's important.
Yeah. All right.
Otherwise, if you only can affect the game in one way, and you struggle, you are now affecting the game in 0 ways.
Yep. Absolutely. All right. Next guy. Luis Garcia Jr. Matter of fact, let me make sure I put Jr. because what the funny part was I'm on Fangraphs and I'm like, yo, where I kept hitting Luis Garcia, and it kept bringing up
you kept hitting the pitcher.
The picture from right.
Luis Garcia Jr. We're after.
Yeah. All right. So his projection. All right.
Did Nine tell me to fuck off yet? I was hoping he told me.
No,
to fuck
he didn't. 278. And so his projection: 278, 320, 441, 18 home runs, 71 RBIs, 66 runs, 17 stolen bases with a 110 WRC. Now, Eric, this is a guy you didn't want me to put on the list.
I didn't have him on mine.
I think he proved himself last year.
Yeah, he definitely took a big jump.
Jump.
His highest WRC plus was 95 in a very short sample size. The year before, he was only 85. I mean, he had a good year. There's no doubt about it. He is, they got him projected at 17 and 18 home runs. I see why you got him on there. He just didn't quite make mine. I didn't know if what I saw was, can he do it again?
Right.
I guess. Is he growing from here, or was that a outlier season? I guess is a question.
Right. Yeah. So we shall see. But I love him. I think you can recover from picking him around 12 through 15 if you miss on him. Right. What I'm saying is,
you know why? Yeah,
he's gonna probably go.
You know why he didn't make my list? He chases a ton.
He chases,
and he don't walk.
Right.
Which is going to give him slumps. But his bat to ball is great. You can tell. But listen again. Who's going to complain about 18 home runs and 22 stolen bases? If you think he can repeat that season, he's a top 10 second baseman.
Yeah, and then like the thing about when I'm looking at it. I said 10 through 15, but he's probably going to be, 6 through 12 as far as drafting.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
But what I mean is, if you pick him round 6 through 12, you can recover and find somebody to replace him. Pretty simply. If you're in like a 10 or 12 man league, 15 league is a little bit harder to find guys. After everybody's in. Scavenge the waiver wire, but you can recover. But I don't think you have any worries with Luis Garcia. I think he found himself, and I think that he's a solid baseball player, and he deserves to be a 9. So that's where we're going with that. All right,
fair enough.
Brandon Lau, number 8. Is it Lowe? Brandon Lowe. No, Brandon Lau. He's Brandon Lau. Josh Lowe, and the other Nate Lowe. So, okay, yeah. So, Brandon Lau, right? I hate when they pronounce it Lau. So, his projections, 233, 315, 436, 24 home runs, 66 RBIs, 70 runs, 6 stolen bases, 116 WRC plus. Now, this is a guy I like, but I don't like. This is a guy you like more than I do, but I still like him.
Yeah, it's just, can he stay healthy? Right. That's probably been the big thing. He hasn't hit 450 at bats ever in the last 3 years. So he's constantly injured. They are talking about potential trade bait with him because, quite frankly, the Tampa's kind of loaded there at second base on that side.
Yep.
But I mean,
and they platoon him at times. They platoon him against left-hand pitching.
Yeah, and he's, he had 21 and 21 homers. They got him put at 24 this year. You can get 24 home runs out of second base. That's an elite category stuffer. So, if you're hurting in power, if you've chosen speed and average and other positions, Brandon Lowe should be higher on your second baseman deal because you ain't gonna see too many second basemen projecting to hit 24 home runs.
Yeah. So, and Brandon Lau, once again, make sure y'all keep this in mind with the Tampa Bay Rays players this year. They're moving to a ballpark while the other park gets built.
Yep.
That ballpark they're going to is I
think it's a single A Yankees facility.
It is. Yep. So just keep that in mind when you're drafting offensive guys from Tampa Bay, because it's going to play once them, the Oakland Athletics also, right? If you got Oakland Athletics,
Oakland Stadium makes a big difference. That thing is,
yep,
you might as well forget having any pitchers from that team, and you should
yep.
move up every offensive player probably 50 to 100 spots in your ADP. I mean, that's nothing but a boombox out there in Sacramento.
That's why one of the biggest jumps since the ADPs came out initially to the recent drop of ADP.
Yeah,
Lawrence Butler went up like 50 spots.
I mean, him and Rooker already jumped because he had a big year, and he hit 40 in the damn Oakland. So like
in the Coliseum,
Yep.
Shea Langoliers is moved up. All of them have just jumped up, except for Gillum.
They're going to hit more home runs. They just are. There's no way around it. And the pitchers are going to give up more home runs.
Yep. All right. So number 7. Oh, Xander. I don't know what it is about Xander. I never liked Xander, but he's solid. 271, 335 project. This is projections. 271, 335, 417, 18 home runs, 75 ribbies, 77 runs, 14 stolen bases with a 115 WRC plus. I just, Xander is Xander. He's what, 31 now? I want to say.
It says,
31. Okay.
12 seasons. It says. Did he start that young?
Yeah, he did in Boston.
Yep.
But I just
age 32. Age 32.
32. Okay. So yeah. So I mean, he's Xander Bogaerts.
You know what you're going to get. It's not pretty. His Avant page is not pretty. He's kind of on the backside of the clock. He's been sliding for years. Like if you look at 2022, he hit 307, 377, 456. 23, he went down to 285, 350, 440. Last year, 264, 307, 381. So he went from an 833 OPS to 790 to 688.
Right.
I mean, but he wasn't on. He was on my list, but he was like more 9 or 10. But yeah, I mean, you know what you're going to get. He's going to score some runs. He's going to have some hits. He plays in Padres lineup if he can stay on the field. And you're going to get, I think you get multiple positions out of him as well.
Yeah, you get short and you get second with him.
You get both, right?
Yeah,
you get both.
You get short and second.
I mean, this would be a 1 year only. If I was in a dynasty, this would be a hard pass for me in a dynasty league.
In a dynasty league, I'm not picking Xander Bogaerts.
Yeah, that'd be 100% dump. But you get both. You get shortstop to exactly 20 games. 20 games. So an 85. So I mean, I would want to make sure I had 2 guys here if Xander was my only one. But
because he gets hurt every year too.
He gets hurt every year. But don't get me wrong, he's got obviously used to have some potential upside in here. I mean, you are talking about a guy that did have a 129, 133 OPS. I mean, he had a stretch here of 133, 141, 129, 129, 133. It's just that he went to 119 and 95. He's on the backside. So you're taking a flyer, hoping for a little bit of bounce back there.
Yep. So we'll see what he does. But dynasty wise, if you're in a dynasty league and it's your first year draft, not first year draft, but your initial draft for your league, right?
Yeah, I'm passing here.
I'm not picking Xander Bogaerts.
Yeah,
like he's not. If I am, I'm picking him as my second baseman or third.
Yeah, he's more the utility guy that can play a sub in at shortstop or second base, maybe.
Yeah, but that's how I would go with him. So, but that's dynasty. In a 1 year league, as we're going to, he has more value.
Yep.
All right, number 6. Jordan Westburg of the Baltimore Orioles. Let's see projections: 262, 321, 452, 21 home runs, 75 RBIs, 71 runs, 8 stolen bases, a 121 weighted runs created plus. I like Jordan Westburg. I hate he's on the team he's on. I wish I could get him, but I know the person who owns him doesn't have him. I mean, not moving off of him. But
it would be. I like him too. I'm the one who traded it to him, and I've sent that man probably 15 trade offers, and he I don't even get a response half the time. But listen, I like Jordan. You're going to talk about you're getting third base here, which we know is a weak position, and you get second base here. So you're 2 of the weak positions, and you're talking about a guy. You just read him, but talking about a guy that's going to get projected to have either 21 or 20 home run guy. I mean, what's not to like it?
Nothing.
There's a lot to like here, especially when you got a guy that can cover two of your weaker positions in the deal. He's very valuable in the league. He's a guy that I have tried to get from Dre, but Dre don't answer my phone calls. So I've tried.
Yeah, but I mean, it's
Baltimore fence left field gets moved in a little bit this year. He's a little pull happy, so that'll help him as well.
Yeah, and he doesn't K.
No, he's right on league average, and it's even better than that. And he's still pretty young. I mean, you're talking about a guy that's only got 675 career plate appearances, 624 at bats. Like, he's going to get better. He's going to be playing for the Orioles. To me, it's a question of whether he plays second or third, and that depends between Mayo and Holiday.
Yep. All right, let's move on.
Top five.
Top five, guys. Top five.
These are all pretty easy, I think. I think the argument is like 8 through 12, 8 through 13.
Hey, this motherfucker ain't even on our list. Somebody just put something in the I'll bring it up later, but he ain't even on the list. That's crazy.
Didn't even make the honorable mentions. Yeah.
And I'm just like, how? But it makes sense because we're going to do our top five, and I like our top five. You know what I'm saying? All right, so here we go. So here we go. Top five. Marcus Semien.
If somebody put Luis Ariz, hard pass if that was the person.
That was the person.
Pass. especially in the FBC league.
Yeah.
Ariz don't do anything for you. Absolutely no. So one trick hit pony. That's it.
One trick pony.
Can't run, no power, can't play, no. Pass.
Yep. Agreed.
Our league, more value. We count hits. We count batting average. They don't. So, yeah, if it was Luis Ariz, hard pass.
Yep. It was Luis Ariz. Like I said.
I was trying to think of who somebody could have said that would have been on our list, and I was like, Ariz? Like, yeah, pass.
Yeah, he's not on our list, and I love our list. But when you look at it from our perspective, from you're in a league where it's OBP, right?
Yeah.
Hits are not counted.
No.
And those are the two things that he does. Like, okay.
If you don't have a hit category, there's no reason to have Luis Ariz on your team.
All right, so let's go Marcus Semien.
Do you know how often he walks? 3% of the league. Like, he doesn't walk. His OBP is only reason it's good is if he hits a good batting average. Other than that, his OBP is no good.
Yeah.
Like, pass.
Yep. Oh, he said, well, that's what he's saying. Okay. All right. So anyway, one thing when we get done, I'm gonna kind of go back through the numbers, and I want people to understand the things that I learned it from you.
Yeah.
And it has been just gold for me ever since I started looking at it that way, right? And this was 2 years ago when we first started like doing this. And it was even before that when we first started doing the spaces on Twitter. But anyway, 253, 322, 429, 24 home runs, 71 RBIs, 93 runs, 12 stolen bases, 113 WRC plus. He does not miss games, right? He's an Iron Man. Marcus.
Yeah, they are talking about cutting down his playing time a little bit this year. It's probably the only reason why. At one point, he was probably a perennial top 3 at this spot. But he's coming off his worst year he's had since COVID. I mean, but again, you're getting 24 home runs, 71 RBIs, 93 to 95 runs. I mean, and an absolutely loaded lineup. The Rangers lineup is sick.
It got better. like
wow.
You lose Nate Lowe. You lose Nate Lowe.
Yeah.
And you just get better, which is stupid.
Yeah,
you got a bunch of young studs down there,
Yeah. Well, they got a nice mix. They got a nice mix. Yeah. Talk about having Wyatt Langford, and then you have Adames Garcia, right? I mean, like, you have Evan Carter, then you have, older guys. Like, it's You have Simeon, but then you have Seager. Like, it's an interesting concept down there, but they're playing to win. But Simeon's still number 5 for me. I mean, you're talking, like I said, 100-plus runs, 75 RBIs, 23 home runs. He's still there.
Yep. So these, whatever you see the projection. That's the projections from FanGraphs. That's FPGC.
And he got double-digit stolen bases they're giving him. I mean, it's not he's hitting every category a little bit right here as we're talking about it. So, again, Dynasty, different story. 1 year, top 5 still.
All right. What the fuck is this? Oh. All right. So number 4, Jose Altuve.
Yeah.
I think he's moved into old trusty territory.
You know what you're getting. I mean,
he's old trusty now.
Yeah.
So, put a little bit of money on Toronto. I mean, Texas Rangers is what they're saying in the comments.
Listen, I like their squad, and I like their GM.
Yep. So you know what you're going to get with that Jose Altuve. You know, just make sure he doesn't open his shirt. Anyway, 268, 335, 431, 21 home runs, 68 RBIs, 92 runs because of that lineup, 18 stolen bases, 120 WRC plus.
Yeah.
He just
now 120 would be the lowest he's put up since COVID, and COVID really didn't count because it was half a year. So 120 will be. Look at this.
That's his ceiling. I mean, it's his floor.
This is unreal. So 2014, I'll start. I'll just go real quick. 137, 124, 152, 160, 137, 135, 74 COVID, scratch it. 128, 164, 155, down to 127. They got him coming 120, both Steamer and FanGraphs this year. Like, backside of the clock, obviously, like you said, old trusty status. But listen, you're going to get 2020 out of him still projected right at it. And he's, I'm a little less bullish on the lineup without
Kyle Tucker
and Bregman possibly in it. So, I mean, I'm a little less bullish on the lineup, but
I think that's why you're seeing the projections the way they are.
I think so too. I agree. So, getting older, but listen, top 4, but I'm not reaching here. He's not a top 50 ADP guy. I'm not reaching here.
No, you're going to get him in rounds 4, 5.
Yeah. Yep. Agreed.
Yep. All right. Top 3. Number 3, Matt McClain coming back. Now, this is all to say he's over his injury bug. He missed all of last year. If all the reports out of Cincinnati, all the reports from his camp, he is fully healthy. He is back. He did play in the Arizona Fall League. He was smacking baseballs down there against, not good quality pitching, but he's getting his feel back for the game, right? But Matt McClain came into the league with his hair on fire and took the world by storm. The Reds missed him. They need him back. I always talk about the Reds being one of the young up-and-coming teams, but last year, without TJ Friedl and without Matt McClain, the two engines of that team, they didn't do too well. But you get Matt McClain back, you start, and you get TJ Friedl healthy. Now you're looking at a Reds team that's going to take off with Ellie, right? With
Spencer,
Spencer Steer, Tyler Stevenson.
Then you even got like the sneaky Caminado, whatever.
Yep. And then you got, every now and again, Fraley gets on fire. Every now and again, the young kid Benson gets on fire. It's just, they just have a team that is streaky, is sneaky. But what they did do was they solidified their rotation. They have a very good rotation in Cincinnati, right? But you get Matt McClain back, right? And you get this guy if he gives you 260, 342, 463, 25 bombs, 82 RBIs, 80 runs, 17 stolen bases with a 117 WRC, you're having a solid season. And in fantasy, he's touching every category. Every single one.
I mean, look at 20. They got him for 25 homers and 80 plus RBIs, 17, 18 bags.
Yeah.
Still a young kid. I mean, probably might take some heat for having him at 3, but like, listen, I love the ballpark he's playing in. I love the lineup. 25 homers and 17 bags, 80 runs.
I think he's going to be. I honestly think
he even has some upside from there. Unlike Xander and Jose, there's some upside there still. Like, would it surprise me if he went 30 and 25? It wouldn't surprise me.
It wouldn't surprise me.
It wouldn't surprise me.
And that's where I was going. I think he's 30-25. Like, I think they're being bullish on his projections because we haven't seen him in a year.
I mean, this is why you use Savant. This is why you use – I know people are new to, like, VBA or whatever, but you use the vertical bat attack angles and stuff. Like, you use to, like, who do you think can beat projections and who do you think can't beat projections?
Right.
I don't think Xander can beat projections. I think Matt McClain can beat his projections.
Absolutely. Yep. Agreed. So, number 2, Ozzie Albies. Now, coming off a down year, an injured riddled year, actually, right?
The whole team,
like Atlanta just caught.
The whole team was just cursed last year. Seemed like.
Yeah, like they're going to be healthy. They'll get Acuna back probably June, maybe before. Who knows? But I'm looking at June for Acuna to come back. But then Matt Olson had a little bug. I call it a bug, but he had a little injury thing going. Austin
he's
Riley.
A weird cat, man. Like, he's like, I think it's the odd years he's been killing, the even he hasn't. I don't believe nothing in that, but I mean, like, he's got a little bit of swing in him. I mean, don't get me wrong, even the bad years are good, but he has MVP type years. It seems like every other year.
Right. Austin Riley had his time where he was not doing what he's supposed to be doing, and all of a sudden he catches fire.
Yeah. But I mean, you're talking about a guy that hit 33 home runs in 23. You get 33 home runs out of second base, 109 RBIs in 23. Like, they got him put, 23, 24 homers. Again, 90 plus runs, 81, 82 RBIs, 12 stolen bases. Still young. He doesn't walk as much for my liking, but he definitely has pop in the bat.
Yep. And I think he's gonna get more than 12 bags too. So
yeah. So I mean, he's fast enough.
For sure. All right. And so I think everybody that's listening, everybody watching, everybody doing whatever, right? You know who number 1 is.
If you don't know, you're not even paying attention.
Yep. Number 1, Ketel Marte.
Yeah.
Pretty simple, pretty easy. It's the best second baseman in baseball. 278, 359, 489. That's just sick. 26 home runs, 82 RBIs, 95 runs, 8 stolen bases, 132 WRC plus.
Listen, it's not an accident. We've done 2 positions, and they were both weak positions. The number 1 guy at third base was Jose Ramirez. The number 1 guy at second base is Ketel Marte, and they're on the same team in our league. That is not an accident. If you are drafting to win championships, get the best player at the weakest positions. You don't understand how valuable it is to have Ketel Marte starting at second base, and somebody has to run out one of these 11 or 12 ranked guys because that's all they got on the deal. Your gaps are so huge. There's a million outfielders. There's a million first basemen. The point differential isn't deal. Hey, if you play fantasy football, I'll put it in those texts. Quarterback scoring is so tight. It's so different. It's so, like, it almost don't matter if you have the 3rd guy or the 10th guy. That's not. And in baseball, outfielders similar, first base similar, shortstop, it's got a little bit higher peak, but you're talking about 4 or 5 game changers there. But second base and third base, the gap between 1 and 10 is astronomical.
It's Lake Michigan.
It's astronomical. So it's not an accident that I ended up with the Bulls. I knew coming in that's what I wanted to do.
Yeah. And you did it.
Yeah.
You did it. So, like, Ketel Marte should be he should not get past the 2nd round.
And the best thing I like about Carol, another thing to think about is what happens if your guy can't play. Like, I'll give you an example. I traded away Will Smith this year. Yeah. Fantasy King. Caleb. Fantasy King.
Look.
Underneath my name.
Look, look. Yeah. Hold on.
Yeah, you got to put it back up there. Fantasy King.
Let me make sure everybody sees this. It says,
King of Fantasy Baseball. Yeah. See, so it says it right there. That's the bullshit I'm on, Caleb. That's the bullshit I'm on. But I'll give you an example. I traded away Will Smith. I'll tell you why I traded away Will Smith. Will Smith used to get the DH reps on his day off. He don't anymore because they have Ohtani. They're never – Ketel Marte, even on his days off, when it's time to put him in the field, he's such a good enough hitter, he's going to get the DH reps.
Yep. That's just – those are the little sneaky things where when you're crafting your draft board, when you're putting your draft board together and you're going into a strategy for drafting your team, those should be the things you're looking at. And that's I'm telling you, that's the things I had to learn. And then last year I had to refrain from going with the run because I knew there was going to be a run, but I stuck to if you have your this is my fantasy advice. I'm not the greatest, but I understand the game now, right?
Yeah.
But my advice when you're drafting, you stick to your draft list. If you see a bunch of motherfuckers that are in one position going, that's not your cue to find that guy on your list at that position and go grab that guy now. No, you grab your guy at the top of your list.
You almost want to go opposite of that, right? You don't want to settle like now because you should have tiers. You should have tiers. You should have layers. And you know, we just went through it. I could argue 6 through 14 in second baseman, like depending on the rest of your roster, how you would rank those. So if you don't get one of those guys and all of a sudden 5 second basemen are gone, who gives a shit? Like you could draft a guy that's 14 or 15. He's going to be roughly, some of our honorable mentions, going to put up similar numbers as the guy that's drafting 7, drafting 4 rounds out of spots. Like that's what you got to pay attention to when you're trying to build, for sure.
Yeah, like especially like every year, the starting pitch and run fucks people up.
Yep.
Like get your ace, right?
Same thing if people are watching they do fantasy football, when people start freaking out when this tight ends start going and everybody jumps in and grabs a guy. Like, listen, the 7th tight end and the 13th tight end are the same dude. Like, you don't have to jump in there. Same thing. You don't have to jump in.
You don't have to jump in. So, but Ketel Marte, number 1 second baseman in fantasy baseball and in baseball, in my opinion. He's the number 1 guy.
Yeah.
So our top 10 to recap is Brendan Donovan, number 10, right? Brendan Donovan, number 10. Luis Garcia Jr., number 9. Brandon Lau, number 8. Hold on a second. Let me take this off. So that's just not running. Number 7, Xander Bogaerts. Number 6, Jordan Westberg. Number 5, Marcus Semien. Number 4, Jose Altuve. Number 3, Matt McClain. Number 2, Ozzie Albies. And number 1, Ketel Marte. All right. So now that that's all done, I hope you guys got that. If you got any questions, hit us up on Twitter in the DMs. Hit us up on the comments on YouTube, however. And we'll respond in kind, okay? But Eric and I, since we love fantasy baseball so much, we got ourselves in a fucking pickle, okay?
Yeah.
Eric decides to reach out to some guys that we met last year in the Yahoo League and say, hey, we want to be a part of this. And what it was Scout the Stat Line. Scout the Stat Line has a dynasty league. It's 30 fucking teams.
Yeah, 30.
It's 30
MLB
teams.
Size.
It's 30
Dynasty
teams.
draft.
A dynasty draft 30 fucking teams, right? And Caleb says he's still the trade king. He's still the trading king.
He does. He robs all those poor people all the time. Just takes advantage of Nick and Duke, and just he is a trade king. I'll give him that.
Yep.
I'll give him that.
But we are here, so it's I don't know when the draft is, but Eric and I got homework to do.
Yeah, we got shout out to the scout guys, the ones I was talking to. But second, we said we wanted in, they let us in.
Yep.
So we're going 30 teams deep farm systems. I mean, this changes everything that you and I have learned and prepared for, because like now what kind of farm system do you want with your regular team? You're basically, I told you last night, like I'm giddy about it. I mean, basically every team is representing one Major League Baseball team. We get to build our own farm, our own system. 30 rounds is just 30 teams is just the is the playing surface. You're talking about they're probably going 40 rounds deep and then probably going 20 rounds deep in a farm. So you're talking top 600 players in the minors.
Yep. So like it's gonna be interesting to see how that draft works. I can't wait for us to compile our draft strategy, our draft list, and see how it goes. It's gonna be fun because the number one thing is I believe it's a category league, by the way, head to head. I think he said, did he say head to head?
Head to head.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he said.
Which is also interesting.
Yeah,
how you gonna do it head to head with 30 weeks? Like,
yeah,
they must be going to shorten them, or maybe you're just not playing some of the teams, or maybe you're only playing half and half. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe they do like divisions / you get 3 outside of division games or whatever a year or some shit.
I'm gonna guess you play like every team twice or something in your little deal, then you play a couple outside or something. But or maybe you don't even have playoffs. Maybe it's just straight run to the end. I don't know. Yeah. But I'm telling you, these are guys like you and I that wake up every day and they're checking every single deal. They're deep into minors. They're deep into the systems. They're watching minor league games. They're checking all the pages. Like, this is going to be a fun chance to test our skill set. And the strategy of the roster has me very, very curious. Like, you're not going to be able to go out to the waiver wire and just plug gems like you can in our home league with only having 12 teams. Like, there's 30 teams.
Yeah.
Like, there ain't the waiver wire. There's no such thing as necessarily streaming starts. Like, that stuff ain't going to happen. So roster construction challenge here is going to be top notch, and I'm looking forward to it.
Yep. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I think head to head is going to be 5 times 5, meaning 5 offensive, 5 pitching categories. I think.
Yeah, we'll see what they do. They're a little creative over there. I would guess it might go a little deeper, but it's going to be interesting.
No, yeah. Yeah.
And like I said, the idea of how to build your minors with youth, how's it going to complement? How are we going to layer and tier like we always talk about? What are we looking for in that type of situation? If we're going with deep farms, are we going to try to do, 3 or 4 AAA guys that are knocking? Are we going to try to do 3 or 4 guys in the middle that are 4 years away? Are we just going to go on Star Talent alone? Like, those are the conversations I'm looking forward to having with you as we try to build this.
Yeah, and then we still have the real NFC that we're going to be doing too. So
yep.
So that's going to be fun. So I mean, next week we're going to be doing first base.
All right.
First base fantasy. First base fantasy is kind of. I think it'll be fun.
Caleb, you should watch next week. Caleb, you're going to have like 19 of the guys in the top 10. It's all he's got. Like him and Keon have all the first basemen in our league. They have them all.
Yeah. So like we're gonna have first baseman next week. If anything moves with the White Sox, we'll report on that. But if not, it's gonna be a straight fantasy show.
Yeah.
And we'll just do it like that. I can't wait. I can't wait for us to really sit down and nail this down once we get all the information back from the guys from Scout the Stat.
That's gonna be crazy. 30 man, that deeper rosters. I mean,
yeah. And then 5 weeks from pitchers and catchers, bro. Like,
dude, it's
baseball
here.
Baseball is here.
It's here.
Yeah. So
it's here.
All right. Well,
spring is here. Baseball's here.
Yeah. So that's it for the show. that's it for the Pickoff Show. I'm glad you guys came. I'm glad you guys
Thank you
supported
guys.
us.
Always.
Yeah, thank you guys for being here, supporting us always. Thank you guys for subscribing on YouTube. Thank you guys for liking us on Twitter and watching on Twitter, so on and so forth. We thank you. We thank you. One last announcement. Tomorrow will be the bad guys will be taking over the channel. So look out for that. And then Wednesday, new show alert. New show alert.
Oh no, it's not that other team, is it?
It's the other team that occupies the city.
We're gonna have a slub show on our channel too.
It's the other team that occupies the city of Chicago, but it's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. So there will be a Cubs show starting on Wednesday. I will be here Wednesday to kick it off, and I'll never be on that show again. So shout out to the host. I know everybody knows who he is, but he's coming, and it's going to be fun to see him talk baseball because that's a passion of his that he doesn't get to talk about a lot. So you guys are going to enjoy that. I know you guys will, and it'll be every Wednesday. That show will be every Wednesday, and then on Thursdays we also have the refs call with Gregory Bell running the basketball commentary. So the Juke Joint has a show damn near every day. So check us out. Always follow us and support all of the personalities that we have running over here. And thank you guys for everything. It's been 3 years since we started the podcast. Kind of moved away from the podcast and kind of just strictly YouTube / streaming. So
yep.
But this is a love. This is a passion. This is something that Ray, Elise, and Eric, which is Ray's, started. Did you know Justin? Did you know Justin, our friend Jay Targaryen? Did you know that he has in his profile the J in joint?
I did not know that.
It's so funny. It's so funny. I will listen to his profile and say, what? But he's dead ass about it. He's like, no, fuck that.
Right.
I've been there since day one, and he has. So shout out to all the Bad Guy Radio personalities. Shout out to all our scumbag, all our friends, all around it.
Dude, I listened for a while last time when they were on the show, and like, let me just say, like, that's the Bad Guy thing is a great thing to have a glass of whiskey and just laugh your fucking ass off. Because I'm like, what did he just say again?
Exactly.
Did he just say what I think he said again? Like,
yeah, it's insane. But it's a break from the norm. But it's that.
It is, and it's unfiltered, and it's literally you don't have to worry about what any of them are thinking because they'll be happy to just tell you. You don't have to worry.
And they're going to give it to you raw and uncut every single time. So I love it. And but thank you guys. We're going to end this one. We're going to cut the lights off in here, and we'll see you guys next week with the first baseman, rankings. Thank you guys. Appreciate it. Yeah, I don't know.